keep waking up at 3 in the morning, same time, different nights, same quiet panic, and you've been told it's stress, or your sleep cycle, or maybe you drank water too late. But what if it's none of those things? What if 3 a.m. isn't waking you up to punish you, but to speak to you? You're not broken, you're not cursed, you're being called. Let me ask you something. How many nights have you woken up in that strange, silent hour when the world feels suspended between yesterday and tomorrow and felt like something was off? Not wrong exactly, just present. Like the universe leaned in close and whispered your name, but you couldn't quite hear what it said. So you roll over, you check your phone, you try to fall back asleep, and you tell yourself it's nothing, but it keeps happening. 3 a.m. has a reputation. In folklore, it's called the witching hour, the time when the veil between worlds is thinnest, when spirits roam and the subconscious rises to the surface like vapor. Some say it's the inverse of 3 p.m., the hour Christ was said to have died, a mockery, a haunting. Others say it's when your body's cortisol levels shift, when your liver detoxifies, when your nervous system recalibrates. Science and mysticism, for once, seem to agree on one thing. 3 a.m. is different, but here's what neither will tell you outright. 3 a.m. isn't waking you up because something is wrong with you. It's waking you up because something is right, or at least trying to be. You see, most of us spend our waking hours in motion. We're working, scrolling, talking, planning, distracting. Our minds are loud, our schedules are full. And in all that noise, there's no room for the quiet truths we've been avoiding, the ones we don't have time to feel, the ones we've learned to silence with productivity and entertainment and the comfortable hum of being busy. But at 3 in the morning, all of that stops. The world goes quiet, your defenses go down, and suddenly there's space. Space for the things you've been pushing down, the grief you haven't processed, the fear you haven't named, the version of yourself you've been ignoring because it's too raw, too real, too much to hold in the daylight. 3 a.m. is when your soul gets a word in. Let's get specific. Maybe you're waking up at 3 because your body is holding tension you haven't acknowledged. Your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, and it's trying to release what you won't let go of consciously. Or maybe it's your subconscious replaying the same worry on loop because you've been too afraid to look at it directly. Or maybe, and this is where it gets interesting, maybe you're waking up because you're on the edge of something, a breakthrough, a shift, a transformation you've been resisting because change, even good change, feels like death to the part of you that craves safety. Carl Jung called this the confrontation with the shadow. The parts of yourself you've disowned, the anger you've suppressed, the creativity you've buried, the truth you've been too polite to speak. During the day, you can keep the shadow at bay. But at night, when your ego is asleep, the shadow comes knocking. And 3 a.m. is its favorite time to visit. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They treat the waking as the problem. They take melatonin. They try sleep meditations. They blame their mattress or their partner or their anxiety. And look, sometimes those things help, but if you're waking up at 3 a.m. consistently over weeks or months, you're not dealing with a sleep issue. You're dealing with a soul issue. You're being asked to pay attention. Think of it like this. Imagine your life is a house. During the day, you're running from room to room, keeping everything functional. But at 3 a.m. you're standing in the hallway and you hear a knock. It's coming from a door you've kept locked for years, the basement, the attic, the room you filled with everything you didn't want to deal with. And now, in the stillness, that knock is louder than anything else. You can ignore it. You can turn on a podcast, take a pill, scroll until your eyes burn. But the knocking won't stop, because the message isn't going away. It's just going to get louder. So what's the message? It's different for everyone, but here's the pattern. 3 a.m. wakes you up when you're living out of alignment, when there's a gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be, when you're tolerating a relationship that drains you, when you're ignoring a calling that scares you, when you're carrying someone else's expectations like a backpack full of stones, when you're saying yes to everything except the one thing your soul is screaming for. 3 a.m. is your internal alarm system. It's not broken, it's working exactly as it should. Let me tell you what happens when you start listening. Not fighting it, not medicating it, not distracting from it, but actually listening. At first, it's uncomfortable, because when you sit with the waking, when you don't immediately reach for your phone or try to force yourself back to sleep, you have to feel what's there. And what's there is usually not pleasant. It's the conversation you've been avoiding, the decision you've been delaying, the truth you've been dancing around, the part of you that knows you're not where you're supposed to be. But here's the shift. When you stop resisting the waking and start receiving it, something changes. The 3 a.m. wake-up becomes less like an ambush and more like an invitation. You start to see it not as insomnia, but as insight, not as disruption, but as revelation. You begin to ask different questions, not why can't I sleep, but what am I not willing to see during the day? Not what's wrong with me, but what's trying to emerge through me. And this is where the real work begins, because once you acknowledge what 3 a.m. is showing you, you have a choice. You can go back to sleep, literally and metaphorically, and keep living the same loop. Or you can take the message seriously. You can make the change, have the conversation, set the boundary, walk away from what's draining you, move toward what's calling you. Let's talk about what this looks like in practice. Say you're waking up at 3 a.m. and you're filled with anxiety about your job. Every night, same time, your mind is racing about deadlines, about your boss, about whether you're good enough. You've tried everything to sleep through it, but nothing works. So one night, instead of fighting it, you sit up, you turn on a dim light, you get a notebook, and you write down, without filtering, what you're actually feeling, not what you think you should feel. Not what's logical or reasonable, just the raw truth. And maybe what comes out is this: I hate this job. I've hated it for 2 years. I'm only staying because I'm afraid of what people will think if I leave. I'm afraid I won't find anything better. I'm afraid of disappointing my family. I'm afraid I'm not capable of more. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and join a community of awakened souls walking the same journey of spiritual alignment. That's the message. That's what 3 a.m. has been trying to tell you. And now that it's on paper, now that it's out of your body and into the world, you can't unsee it. The choice becomes clear: stay and suffocate, or leave and trust. Or maybe it's not about a job. Maybe it's about a relationship. Maybe you're waking up at 3 because you're lying next to someone you've outgrown, someone you care about but don't love the way you used to. And every night, your body's trying to tell you what your mind won't admit. This isn't it anymore. Or maybe it's not about leaving anything. Maybe it's about returning to something, a creative project you abandoned, a dream you shelved, a version of yourself you left behind when you decided to be practical, to be realistic, to be safe. 3 a.m. is the hour of retrieval. It's when the universe hands you back the pieces of yourself you traded for approval, for comfort, for the illusion of control. Here's the thing about transformation. It doesn't happen in broad daylight. It happens in the in-between spaces, the liminal hours, the moments when you're too tired to pretend and too awake to ignore what's real. 3 a.m. is a portal, and you've been walking through it every night without realizing it. Now let's address the spiritual side of this more directly, because whether you believe in energy and spirit in the metaphysical, or whether you think it's all just brain chemistry and circadian rhythms, there's something undeniably strange about 3 in the morning. In many spiritual traditions, 3 a.m. is considered the hour of divine communication. The time when the noise of the physical world is quietest and the signal of the spiritual is clearest. It's when prayers are said to be most powerful, when intuition is sharpest, when the veil between the conscious and unconscious, between the seen and unseen, is at its thinnest. Some believe that waking at 3 a.m. means you're being contacted by guides, ancestors, higher self, whatever language resonates with you, that you're being prepared for something, that your frequency is shifting and your body is adjusting to a new level of awareness. You don't have to believe any of that for it to be useful. Because even if you strip away all the mysticism, the core truth remains. You are changing. And change, real change, doesn't happen on your terms. It happens when you're vulnerable, when you're open, when you're awake at 3 in the morning with nowhere to hide. So what do you do with this information? How do you work with 3 a.m. instead of against it? First, stop treating it like an enemy. Stop seeing the waking as something to fix. Start seeing it as something to learn from. When you wake up, don't immediately try to go back to sleep. Sit with it, breathe. Ask yourself, what is here right now? What am I feeling? What am I avoiding? Second, keep a journal by your bed. When you wake up, write. Don't edit, don't make it pretty, just let it flow. You'd be amazed at what comes through when you give your subconscious permission to speak without your conscious mind interfering. Third, pay attention to patterns. Is there a specific worry that comes up every time? A specific person? A specific decision? That's not random. That's your soul highlighting what needs attention. Fourth, take action during the day. This is crucial. 3 a.m. will keep waking you up until you address what it's showing you. If it's showing you that you need to set a boundary, set it. If it's showing you that you need to have a hard conversation, have it. If it's showing you that you need to make a change, start making it. The waking will stop when the message has been received and acted upon. And fifth, understand that this is temporary. 3 a.m. insomnia, the spiritual kind, doesn't last forever. It's a phase, a passage, a cocoon. You're not going to wake up at 3 in the morning for the rest of your life. You're waking up now because now is when you need to see something. And once you see it, once you integrate it, once you align with it, your sleep will return. Different maybe, deeper, but it will return. There's a reason the dark night of the soul is called that. It's not a metaphor, it's literal. It's the nights you spend awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling like everything is falling apart. But what's actually happening is that everything is falling into place. The old structures are crumbling so the new ones can rise. The false self is dying so the true self can breathe. 3 a.m. is the chrysalis, and you're the butterfly that doesn't know it's becoming yet. Let's zoom out for a moment. We live in a culture that worships productivity, control, and certainty. We're taught to optimize everything, our time, our routines, our sleep. We're told that if we just do the right things, take the right supplements, follow the right protocol, we can hack our way into perfect rest. But the soul doesn't work that way. The soul doesn't care about your optimization. It cares about your truth. And sometimes the only way to get your attention is to disrupt your sleep. Think about it. Sleep is surrender. It's the one time you're forced to let go of control. And if you're someone who's been holding on too tight to a relationship, to a job, to an identity, to a belief, then sleep becomes the battleground. Because in sleep you can't muscle your way through. You can't think your way out. You can only surrender. And if you're not ready to surrender during the day, your body will make you practice at night. 3 a.m. is surrender training. You're being taught to let go, to trust, to stop white-knuckling your way through life, to release the need to have it all figured out. Because here's the secret, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. And 3 a.m. is showing you what that step is. Now, I want to speak to the people who are scared. The ones who wake up at 3 and feel dread. The ones who think something is wrong with them. The ones who've been told it's just anxiety or depression or a chemical imbalance. And look, maybe it is. Maybe you need support. Maybe you need therapy or medication or both. There's no shame in that. But don't let the diagnosis become the prison. Don't let the label keep you from asking the deeper question. What is my body trying to tell me? What is my life trying to show me? Because sometimes what we call anxiety is just intuition that's been pathologized. What we call depression is just a soul that's been suppressed. What we call insomnia is just a wake-up call that hasn't been answered. You're not broken. You're breaking open. And I know it doesn't feel like it when you're lying there at 3 in the morning, chest tight, mind racing, wondering if you'll ever feel normal again. But you will. Not the old normal, a new one, a truer one. A version of normal where you're not performing, not pretending, not people-pleasing your way through life. A version where you're awake in every sense of the word. To celebrate your arrival, we've prepared a gift, a guide to help you navigate your inner transitions with clarity and elegance. Alignment, 7 phases of consciousness awakening. Download your copy from the link in the description. Here's the thing about spiritual awakening, and that's what this is, whether you call it that or not. It's not blissful, it's not peaceful, it's not all meditation and manifestation and good vibes. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's 3 a.m. wake-ups and existential crises and moments where you don't recognize your own life. But it's also the most honest thing you'll ever do. It's the most you'll ever be. So if you're waking up at 3 in the morning, consider this. Maybe you're exactly where you need to be. Maybe the universe isn't punishing you. Maybe it's promoting you. Maybe you're being initiated into a deeper level of awareness, a higher frequency, a more authentic way of living. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you can't sleep through the night is because you're not meant to sleep through your life anymore. Let me leave you with this. The next time you wake up at 3 a.m., don't fight it, don't curse it, don't reach for your phone or your pills or your distractions. Just sit there, in the dark, in the quiet, and listen. Listen to the sound of your breath. Listen to the hum of the world outside your window. Listen to the voice inside that's been trying to reach you for months, maybe years. And when you hear it, when you finally hear what it's been trying to say, write it down. Honor it. And then, when the sun comes up, do something about it, because 3 a.m. isn't the problem, it's the answer, and you've been holding it all along. If this resonated with you, if you've been waking up at 3 and didn't know why, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but because sometimes the message we need most is the one we help someone else receive. And if you want more of these conversations, more of these truths, you know what to do. Not because I need you to, but because you're choosing alignment, you're choosing to wake up. In every sense, the 3 a.m. rule isn't about sleep, it's about awakening. And you're right on time. The Cipher of Inner Stillness is a poetic journey through the hidden geometry of peace. Blending mystical philosophy, Jungian psychology, and cosmic symbolism, this ebook reveals that silence is not the absence of life, it is its source. Discover this and other codices that transform the way you see the universe through the link in the description.